Radix Nation, what's up guys? Coming at you live from Arizona. I actually already filmed the perspective, but the finance department just got back to me with an incredible update that we could not wait, so we had to get it to you guys. So listen up, this is for all lead reps. Starting May 1st, we are launching next day assist pay. So you sell a deal Monday, it pays you Tuesday. You sell a deal Tuesday, it pays you Wednesday. You sell a deal Wednesday, it pays you Thursday. The one little caveat is that Friday and Saturday's deals will pay you Monday. That's just how the banking system works. So next day assist pay for the entire month of May. Let's go dominate. I've got two quick little things before we go over to the actual perspective. One, the deals have to hit the ticker clean. If you're a lead rep, you have to mark the deal and create a lead first, and then send it over to your closer to be able to go get signed. That is how what will qualify a deal for next day assist pay. And the second little caveat, we will be deducting rent out of that, obviously, if you have company sponsored housing. So other than that, guys, let's freaking go. Let's go. It is May, the summer's here. Next day assist pay is live. We'll catch you guys over back at the other perspective. What is up, Radix? Welcome. We are back for officially the second week of the summer, which means that we have wrapped up week number one. Week number one is all about getting in a routine, getting in the flow of things. You're starting to figure out what time you need to wake up to get the gym in and to get some studying in, to get some personal time in before you hit the doors hard. You're starting to get in the routine of what team meetings need to feel like, what knocking schedules like, how late you're pushing into the night. All of that is important in getting into a routine for the summer. But we are in week number two, and I have a couple things to quickly highlight. One, the curve starts. So we went through this last week, but this is for rookies only to go earn some very specific rookie gear. One deal gets you your hat, and 5 gets you your polo. That's important to go hit that. We've identified those numbers as the numbers that get you through the learning curve in May. So make sure that you're putting all the efforts into getting that done. The second thing, we're going to talk about the Radix Games. So the Radix Summer Games works like this. There's 8 challenges throughout the summer. We're going to do one every other week. And we're going to work with your manager to get you a challenge. And if your team gets that, 2 things happens. One, you get a little piece of gear or some incentive for that week, but you also get a win in the win column. And the team with the most number of wins at the end of the summer, the entire team gets Nike Tech Fleece Olympic Radix branded jackets. So you're going to want to start early, and you're not going to want to miss this week's incentive. So this week's incentive, what is it? We have worked with your manager to get you strictly just a production goal. We look at the number of reps in your office, we look at your performance last week, and we set a goal for your manager that he's going to announce. And if you hit that number, then Saturday night dinner will be on Radix. So make sure that everybody's gunning for those goals. Okay, now we're going to jump into some Canvas highlights. We did notice that a lot more teams were using and guys were using and inputting data into Canvas, and this is crucial. So I wanted to jump into a couple highlights. First, we have team impact. They had 7 appointments that sat, and they had 6 that closed. That's an incredible 85% close ratio. We had Invictus, who had the most number of held appointments or appointments that were sat in with 32. And we have Team Milky, who had the highest knock to lead ratio. So they knocked 2,107 doors and had 136 leads created. That was also the highest number of leads created in the company. So there are 2 or 3 teams that we're noticing that weren't logging very much activity in Canvas. You're going to want to make sure that you start with this. The data that it creates for you is so valuable in creating improvement for each rep individually and also for your team. Let's jump into rep highlights. So these 2 reps were submitted by Team Milky. We have Chandler Donovan and Tucson Adolfo. These guys dealt with a little bit of failed credits last week. But amidst all of that, they had incredible attitudes and incredible work ethic. Their managers were saying that they were looking for opportunities to knock late, and they were looking for opportunities to knock before the meeting. And that's what it takes to be successful in this job. The reality is you can put the same inputs in one week as another week, and the output might be different. You might get a bunch of closed appointments that week, and you might not, but it's important to focus on the things you can control, your attitude and your work ethic. So just wanted to shout out Chandler Donovan and Tucson Adolfo for leading by example there. Let's jump into the top performers from this last week. In our lead reps, in the number 1 spot, we have Henry Ramirez with 5, Skylar Robinson in the 2nd place with 4, and then we had a 3-way tie for 3rd place. We have Ryan Norda, Joshua Cooper, and Nate Wynn all in 3rd place, but the tiebreaker goes to kilowatts sold. And so in our 3rd place, we have Nate Wynn at 24.7 kilowatts. Congrats, Nate. Closers, we had Dalton Robinson on top with 11, 66 kilowatts sold. David Jimenez tied at 11, but Dalton nudged him out based on kilowatts. And then we have Derek Marlowe in 3rd place with 5 accounts. Our top team last week was the Raw Special Ops team out in Hawaii, 22 accounts. Team Milky with 11 and Team Invictus with 10. Again, like I predicted last week, top teams are going to have to be around that 20 number as a bare minimum if you're going to want to get into that top spot. So as your team, if you're strategizing to get to that number 1 spot, you got to go figure out what inputs are going to need to be there in order to get to that 20 plus number. Okay, to round out the call, before we jump into the raffle behind me, I have some summer tips and a quick leadership thought. So the first summer tip comes from Jordan Perez. He's our DM out in Illinois. He said, my word of advice would be to focus on your input, not the output. Only worry about what you can control. From Junior Gonzalez, our DM in Tracy, he says, keep it super, super simple. Literally just dumb it down. Do not try to reinvent the wheel. Copy and paste what the experts are both saying and doing. And then from McCray Foster, he says, on the doors is not the time to practice. The streets are the playing field and the place to execute. Role play in the morning, role play in the car out to area, role play in your apartment, but be intentional about asking what could have been different about your interaction that would have led to a better result. I think that's really important, just to go be really intentional about the time that you're practicing and that you're executing at a high level when you get out in the streets. And then a quick leadership thought. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. It's a cycle that you see. The reality is we see this a lot in just guys that come into our business that come from maybe fortunate circumstances where they grew up, and others that come from unfortunate circumstances. It is crazy to see the guys that just have this grit and this grind about them, that maybe don't have parents that came from a lot. And there's guys that are just willing to go hustle and work really, really hard. And that leads to some really prosperous times, times where seasons in their life where they have a bunch of money in their account. And I'm sure all of you have experienced this to some degree. And if you're not careful, when you get to that point, that can create complacency or soft men that then in return depletes your bank account and you turn into some really hard times. And those hard times have to create strong men again. And you just see this cycle. And so depending, again, we don't know everybody's individual scenarios, but just be really cautious of that. Be cautious to not get complacent, to make sure that you're keeping your nose to the grindstone, that you're working really hard every day, and that regardless of what the output is or what your bank statement says, that Jacob Shreve does a really good job at this. Every day you start at 0. The score is 0-0 every single day. So anyways, guys, that's our leadership thought. Let's jump into this week's weekly raffle. I'm really excited to see it. We got Josh Cooper's Panda shoes ordered, and they are shipped out to his house from last week. Let's see who this week's weekly raffle winner is. No way, Josh Cooper. Congrats, brother. Dude, 2 weeks in a row? I guess that's what happens when you're in the top every week. Great work, dude. Let's see what you won. Let's go, a Roost Chris gift card. So Panda Dunk Lows 1 week and a Roost Chris gift card. Man, Josh Cooper's got to be loving life. Guys, do what you can to get your deals this week. Get in the weekly raffle. We will catch you guys next week for week number 3 of the summer. Let's go crush it this week. Thanks, guys. Go hit your goals.